I'm Simon Whistler, you're watching TopTenzNet, and in the video today we're looking at non-profit entities that look like they were straight out of science fiction. Sure, you can start a non-profit based on giving food to hungry people or giving clothes to cold people, but why deal with boring real-world problems when you can prepare to fight Terminators by making yourself into an immortal cyborg supervillain who also lives in space? In today's video, we're looking at the top 10 non-profit entities that look like they were taken straight out of science fiction. Let's get started.
Top 10 non-profits that are straight out of science fiction. Number 10. Association for the Advancement of Artificial Intelligence. This is a non-profit dedicated to, well, advancing artificial intelligence, apparently because they haven't seen 2001: A Space Odyssey, or Terminator, or The Matrix, or, well, any robot movie really, because smart robots never turn out well. Yes, they are totally real. They do have a website, and you can read their bylaws and browse their offices, which include university professors and a guy named Ted Senator as their treasurer, which means they can say they have a guy named Senator as their treasurer. On top of that, they organize one of the top conferences in the world that is about smart robots, which is probably a lot like knowing the most about hot sauce of anyone in your dorm room. Number 9. The Immortality Institute, Longecity. I honestly can't decide if this group is my hero or if they just scare me a whole bunch. On the one hand, their mission statement is to conquer the blight of involuntary death, which sounds pretty rad. On the other hand, it's also true that Longecity is just their trade name. The Immortality Institute is the inner circle of voting members who decide the direction the organization goes. This surprised me because I thought the Avengers had stopped them back in the 70s. Keep in mind, they only want to stop dying of old age. They're not doing anything about diseases, car accidents, or starvation. They're trying to solve pretty much the one problem that only the luckiest people in the world get to face, so it's no surprise they come across as kind of elitist. For example, there's a thread on the internet that talks about the potential affordability of immortality, and someone makes the analogy that though cell phones cost $1,000 in 1980, now even kids in third world countries can have them. Sure, okay, but kids in third world countries aren't dying of old age. Number 8. Singularity Institute. These guys are a lot like the AAA, but they're on our side. Their mission is to bring rational analysis and rational strategy to the challenges facing humanity as we develop cognitive technologies that will exceed the upper bounds on human intelligence. Since we've all seen the movies where the robots squish us like the pathetic meatbags we are, it's nice to know that someone out there is trying to prevent us from being used as batteries. They do clarify, in case you were wondering, that if a super-intelligent AI causes the extinction of humanity, it will likely be due to indifference, not malice. They also say that they're interested in creating a world that looks more like Star Trek and less like Terminator. Number 7. Center for Responsible Nanotechnology. Have you ever worried that one day billions of microscopic, self-sustaining, repairing and reproducing robots would eat the entire world? Well, now you will. Take a gander at the Center for Responsible Nanotechnology, not use of nanotechnology. Apparently they want the robots themselves to behave responsibly. One of CRN's biggest concerns is what they call grey goo, and we hope you weren't planning on sleeping ever again because when nanotechnology-based manufacturing was first proposed, a concern arose that tiny manufacturing systems might run amok and eat the biosphere, reducing it to copies of themselves. In 1986, Eric Dressler wrote, "We cannot afford certain kinds of accidents with replicating assemblers. We wish we could take grey goo off CRN's list of dangers, but we can't. It eventually may become a concern requiring social policy." Oh, and it gets worse. The human lethal dose of botulism toxin is about 100 nanograms, or about 100th the volume of the weapon. As many as 50 billion toxic-carrying devices, theoretically enough to kill every human on Earth, could be packed into a single suitcase. But this is just a bunch of crazy people, right? Not exactly. In 2005, they created a task force of 60-plus international experts that have written a series of essays on possible scenarios and created a roadmap initiative to prepare for the nanopocalypse. 1 year later, the FDA did the exact same thing. Number 6. Humanity Plus. Humanity Plus? What does that mean? Let's check out their statement of purpose. Humanity Plus is an international non-profit membership organization which advocates the ethical use of technology to expand human capacities. In other words, we want people to be better than well. So, like better? Best? That's how superlatives comparatives work, right? That seems noble, I guess, if a bit vague. Let's dig deeper. Humanity stands to be profoundly affected by science and technology in the future. We envision the possibility of broadening human potential by overcoming aging, cognitive shortcomings, involuntary suffering, and our confinement to planet Earth. That sounds pretty cool. We advocate the well-being of all sentients, including humans, non-human animals, and any future artificial intellects, modified life forms. Modified life forms? Wait. We favor allowing individuals a wide personal choice over how they enable their lives. This includes the use of techniques that may be developed to assist memory, concentration, and mental energy, life extension therapies, reproductive choice technologies, cryonics procedures, and many other possible human modification and enhancement technologies. And now it's clear, these people want to be cyborgs. I want to be a cyborg too. The philosophy is called Transhumanism, and it straddles the line between crazy and awesome so well that I honestly have no idea which one to call it, so I'm just going to go with crazy awesome. Crawsome, if you will. Number 5, Mormon Transhumanist Association. Mormon cyborgs. These guys want to be Mormon cyborgs. What's amazing is that for these two cyborganisms, their goal isn't just self-improvement, but moral self-improvement. They aren't just fantasizing about becoming General Warfield. These are people who saw the ethical problems raised by Blade Runner and iRobot, stood up and solemnly said, "No, not on our watch. Mormons, assemble!" Number 4, SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. We're not going to make fun of these people because they seem to be really, really smart. Sure, they spend all their time looking for aliens, but they've also gotten the government to pay for it for over 20 years, so doing pretty well. Everything they do is based on something called the Drake equation, which was developed in 1961 to determine how many intelligent communicating civilizations there are in our galaxy. Conveniently, the Drake equation shows that even though they haven't found any yet, we should keep funding SETI until they do, because they're totally on it, you guys. They promise. And Jodie Foster says so. Number 3, Space Tourism Society. The Space Tourism Society is a non-profit with the goal to conduct the research, build the public desire, and acquire the financial and political power to make space tourism available to as many people as possible as soon as possible. It seems like the free market might already be on this one, guys. I want to go to space is one of my personal goals too, but is this really let's start a non-profit worthy? We also wouldn't mind living under the sea or having a second faucet in our home just for whiskey, but there's something about being 501c certified and asking for donations for something that sounds cool to the 8-year-old in us that just rubs me the wrong way. There are lots of hungry people in the world, is my point. Number 2, the Planetary Society. Wait, there's another one, and this one has a picture of Bill Nye the Science Guy using telekinetic powers to float a billiard ball? I may have just changed my mind about this. Carl Sagan, Bruce Murray, and Lewis Friedman founded the Planetary Society in 1980, and now Bill Nye serves as executive director. They're the largest space interest group in the world, and yes, space interest is a thing. Their latest goal is to tell NASA and the US government to stop messing around and get us to Mars already, because Mars! And yes, I did just contradict the point of the last entry. It's amazing the difference Bill Nye can make, in my opinion, on stuff. Number 1, Institute for Ethics and Emerging Technology. While we've just gone over those that want to protect robot rights, those that want to protect against robots, those that want to be robots, and those that just want to get to Mars already, we finally found the organization that does all three, the Institute for Ethics and Emerging Technologies. Not the biggest non-profit out there and not the most focused, but they sure are the most aware that the future is going to be way weirder than you could ever hope. On their website, you can find a collection of essays criticizing transhumanism, an explanation of different biopolitical points of view, and updates on Lockheed Martin and NASA's deep space exploration stuff. They even hold polls to see if their readers think robots are deserving of human rights. The future's here, kids, and it kinda rules. So I really hope you enjoyed that video, and I'd love to know what you think of it, so please leave a comment below. I'm also going to link over to another video that you might enjoy, so just click on that thumbnail on the screen now, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel because we put out a new video 7 days a week, and you can also visit us online. Just go to TopTenz.net. Thanks for watching.